don't buy that harness yet. Stop. Watch this video. If you're afraid, if you're gonna mess up the harness that came with your car, the good news is you can always buy one later. But today, I took that chance. I cut up my harness, and I think I made it work for my Marketplace B Series. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, we're building a budget Civic. This guy. Today, we're gonna start putting the rest of coolant hoses and some vacuum lines onto my Marketplace B Series. It's a B18 B1, so the LS non-VTEC engine. And then we're actually gonna take this engine off of the stand it's on, get it on the ground onto a cart, and then attach my GSR trans, which is under this bag here. Let's get some of these coolant hoses put on this engine and get this thing ready to come off the stand. I'm getting excited. I feel like I'm getting really close to actually seeing real progress. So while this engine's on the sand, there's a couple of easy ones I can get to, or it'll be easy to get to them while it's on the stand. I need to put a hose from here to here, which I have right now. I need to do, there's a hose that loops and goes to here. This hose goes to your heater core on your firewall, and along with that hose, this one here has to be ran to here. So this one's gonna be really easy. I just had some extra old hose off of another manifold, intake manifold that I'm not using. So I was able to cut the ends off of it because they were obviously blown up from being onto some nipples like this for a very long time. So I cut it down to length. This should work just fine. Slide that guy up, slide this clamp on there, and then slide this guy on. I'm thinking ahead. I think I want this hose clamp to be kind of down and out of the way of my intake. So we'll kind of aim it like that so we can still get a screwdriver on here. Get her good and tight. That ought to do. That hose is on. I did buy these Performance Parts G+. I bought these guys on Amazon. We'll see how good they are. I mean, they're like double walled or whatever you call that stuff there, but I'm not entirely sure what the hell this is for. It's definitely not for this, but maybe they just make it and have you cut it to how you need it. And this does not look like it's actually going to crimp, so I think it's going to work, but I'm just going to have to cut it. So I cut like so, right about there-ish. How do I want to cut this? Do I think a scissors will cut it? Let's try. So, yeah. I think I need to cut right about there. We'll see if I can even cut this with scissors. Well, cut. It's not pretty, but and that guy there. I mean, she's a little crimpy, but I think that's gonna work. It's not, well, shoot, I guess it is kind of crimpy. That's a little hard there. Oh, what do I want to do? I have a factory hose over here. This guy here, which maybe I'll try to use. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pop this off here. If this looks better on that engine, I'll just use this. This is for a GSR I bought in the dark and realized it's not from the engine that I have. Keep that intake for a rainy day just in case I decide I want to put a GSR head on this thing. Oh boy. Oh. Okay, that's off of there. Let's see how this looks. Actually, I think I'm gonna run with that. I probably should have left a little extra hose on this. Well, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't have worked. Okay, I'm gonna use this. Is there enough to clamp that? Probably. Probably just use the new clamps that I was given though. Let me trim this off. Might regret this later, not just buying a new one, but oh well. As we know on this channel, sometimes you gotta live and learn, boys. Live and learn. All right, I'm gonna take this clamp off of here. All right, that is on. I need to go. Okay. Get that over there. All right. All right, there we go. Get a quick update in here. So last night I got this hose attached, and I think there's no better time than to get this engine off the stand, get it on the cart. Got my trusty deer hoist here. When you don't have a engine hoist to help you get your engine off the stand, you gotta think of other ways. I was able to use that deer hoist to get the engine on the stand, so I'm gonna do it again. It's a little bit sketchy, but just don't tell my dad, who's a safety guy. All right? The nerve-wracking part is over. Engine's on the ground. Whew! That's always sketchy with that deer hoist because that's really not what that's for. But it worked. It's on the ground. Now we can take the engine hoist mount here, take it off, and then work on getting the clutch put on, and then see if we can get the transmission on here by myself. Well, I should have done some more research before I got all excited on eBay. This was like back when I got the engine. I just started buying parts that I thought I was gonna need. And I went on and I got factory flywheel bolts and pressure plate bolts. What I thought was for the B18 from the 94 to 2001 Integra. After realizing that I only had 6 bolts for the pressure plate, I was like, what the heck? Did I get shafted on what I bought? And I went back to my eBay that I bought it on and realized I got it for the older Integra, the 90 to 93, I think. So it seems like that vehicle, along with like the single overhead cam Hondas, it looks like they all used 6 bolts for the pressure plate. And then I'm guessing the newer 94 to 2001 B series must have went to 9 bolts for the pressure plate. So I'm kind of a sitting duck at this point, if you will. I did also realize that one of these bolts, this guy, see if you'll be able to see it. Can you see it? Focus. Here, let's see if you can kind of see that those threads are, maybe you can see that on the screen. Those threads are a little beat up. So that bolt's no good anyways. I did find a set of, another set of 6 bolts from Amazon that I think I'm just gonna buy, because then I'll have some extras in case any of the other ones don't work. Instead of, I could go OEM pressure plate bolts, but they're $10 a piece, and that'd be $30 deep, plus I'd have to try to go find a die that I could chase these threads. So I'll just buy another pack of 6. I think it's like $30 on Amazon for 6 of them. Hope that works. We'll be able to bolt down this pressure plate and then slap that transmission on. So that really the only other thing I can do at this point is, I have these dowels. These came out of my D series. I'm like 99% sure it's the same dowel pin that goes here and here on this B series. So I'm gonna order up some parts. I'll slap these dowels in where I can. And then I guess I just gotta kind of wait until I get some more parts. I at least have the clutch assembled. I just need the extra bolts to tighten it down. And then once we have that, we'll be good. We'll be able to slap the transmission on. So I guess that's kind of my stopping point today. Yeah, so hopefully we get some parts this week and keep going on this video. It's been about a week since we've been out in the garage, since we got to a point where I realized I didn't have enough pressure plate bolts for my new clutch. I also was talking to a buddy, and he was saying I really should Loctite all of this. So I am actually going to take this clutch pressure plate back off, take the flywheel back off, put a little blue Loctite on all this stuff, and then torque it back down again. But also, we got some more pressure plate bolts from Only the Best.
China.
So yeah, I'm going to pop all this stuff back apart, throw a little blue Loctite on each of the bolts, and we'll keep going. I think after that, I'll slap that transmission onto the engine, and maybe even put the wiring harness on. And I think that's probably going to be it for this video. Well, it's always easier the second, third time around, right? So get this pressure plate off of here. Well, that was actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. There we go. Transmission is mounted to the engine, boys. This thing is pretty dirty, the transmission. It looks like, I don't know if maybe the seal was bad or if a CV boot exploded. But I might just try to clean this up a little bit while I have it out. Other than that, I'm gonna try to stick the harness on here. So I got most of this wired up now. This is my my intake air temp on the D16Y8. It connects into your factory air tube. On this B series, it's got to come over here, and I do need to buy a new plug for it. But what I think I'm going to try to do is cut back this loom and see how far I can get this wire to go before I just cut it and extend it. I think I'm going to make a junkyard run tomorrow and grab the round plug that I'm going to have to put on this. There's a couple extra other things I need to get. Oh, I need to get that pin for the clutch. Yeah, so I am gonna set up the camera while I try to peel this back and see how far back I can get this to go. The rest of this stuff, like this was I labeled it automatic transmission rear. I don't think I'm gonna need this plug. And then these 3 plugs here and this 1 plug here, also for automatic trans. So I don't think I'm gonna need these either. I'm gonna leave them, I think I'm just gonna leave them hanging for now. Get it in the car, make sure the engine runs, and then I might come back and clip these off and shrink wrap them. Shrink wrap those wires just so they don't short out. Other than that, I think I have everything set up, other than I do have to cut this 3-wire plug off, replace it with the 2-wire for this guy. Get this plug cut off. I won't need it anymore, so I can cut it shallow. This orange guy will never be used again. So what I'm gonna do with that guy is take a piece of shrink wrap, just fold it over on itself, just squish this one together, and find that shrink wrap that I just shoved between my... If I can get it down far enough where I can start pulling the wire. There we go. Okay. My little torch out here. Keep that guy on itself. Yeah. That'll work nice. Now, what I need to do is those. Strip these 2 wires back. And I found a cheat sheet on Honda Tech again. It's going to be a real mind frig. If you're using the correct plug, I think this was just some random plug that I found in the junkyard. Should be a green wire up top and I believe a black wire on the bottom. But I have a black and blue and a yellow and a black. And from my cheat sheet that I made, it'll be seam ass backwards, but on the harness I have a yellow with a black with a blue, and per that cheat sheet it's supposed to be green wire to yellow and black to black and blue. So it's gonna seem really weird because it's gonna be the 2 exact same wires but flipped. I just want to do country ass shit with my country ass friends. All right, now that we got this all settled here, again, it's a mind because these 2 wires seem like they should go together, but they don't per Honda Tech. So let's listen to those guys. Slide this plastic sheath back in here like Factoral. All right, get me a little tape down here. Give it a little wrappy poo-poo. A wrap underneath. Back and around. Like so. Make sure you punch the intake manifold when you rip the tape off. And we'll finish it off with a little extra tape up here as well. All right. That's that. And you know what? We got that connected, boys. Well, I feel like I've never been a wiring guy until today, and I'm not hating it. So I got my intake air temp wire stripped back. Used to be up here. I stripped it all the way down back into here, and this green wire actually comes from this side of the harness, and the red comes from the ECU side. So I just looped that green wire back, and now I'm gonna run it back under all this and have it come back up, probably with this, which it goes to our injectors, and have it loop back here. I have all of this wire that is the same gauge as what I need. So I don't have the exact green with black, red with yellow wire, but I'm gonna cut a good hunk of wire off of that mess there, cut this pigtail off enough that I can look at what it was, so I can translate from videos or pictures online how to change this square to a round for that sensor. Well, just like that, these were all for the automatic transmission, so those are cleaned up. I'll be able to just bundle these together. That will clean up the harness. I'll run this wire here for the plug to plug into my backup lights, and then I just have one other one I got to cut off and do the exact same thing I did here. So I haven't been showing a ton of this wiring because it's kind of been, well, my first time doing this, plus I'm just kind of going as I go and my phone's almost dead. But I wanted to stop and show this trick. Back when I was at a custom shop and we used to do a lot of car audio, an easy way to get through a grommet like this, get yourself a zip tie, cut the end off of it, slide it down through the grommet that you want it to go through. Sometimes we used to use like a little bit of hand soap or even like water would help if you're having a hard time getting it to go through, which I am. So I'm just gonna put a little water on it. Let's see if I can't get it to slide down through here. I mean, I've seen other people just like cut into the grommet and do it that way, but I think that looks kind of ghetto. So I want to try to do this as clean as possible. I'm gonna take this off for now, because this is my wire that I need to run through here. So now that you got your zip tie through the grommet, you can grab it on this end. Take your wire and some tape and tape your wire. Sometimes it helps to kind of like wrap the wire around the zip tie a little bit. Gives you a better grip on that wire so it doesn't just slide out when you pull through. So that's on there. Probably put a little bit of water on there again, and work it through, and there you go. The wire's through. You can pull it all the way. There we go. This will be my backup wire for the backup lights. So I'll throw the loom back on here, tape it up, and this harness is done. I have the wiring totally done. I just have some cleanup to do now. I actually left my VTEC pressure switch and solenoid plug there in case I ever do a VTEC head on here. But otherwise, this engine in trans is wired up. I cut out all of the extra automatic wiring and covered them up well. My backup wire is in and wired all the way into this grommet, so it's going to look factory, and then the rest of this will go under, or where the shifter is from the automatic shifter. But yeah, we're there. I just have to make a junkyard run this week and get this plug so I can wire the intake air temp in. But as soon as I do that, this engine is going in that engine bay. That's it. We did a lot here. Remember, keep building it, even if we're wrong sometimes.